Dimela, Saumona, Sakpase, Namaste, Upshin, Dubraota, Assalamu alaikum, Hotep, Buenas noches, bonsoir, good evening again. This is Doriel Anez Laria of Laria's Education and Resource Network, where I plant seeds to help you grow. Tonight is a second episode. This is part two of our Happy Chronicles, the Kemet Connection. I went live earlier speaking with another one of the brothers who was on the trip with me. For those of you who don't know, I just came back from Kemet. Some people call it Egypt, but we're going to call it Kemet right here. And I just said, hey, I really want to have some good conversations to reflect and to share the great work with people. And so here we go. This conversation, though, is going to be with a brother who I just found a no joke, a divine connection with. Didn't know of him before, but right now we're like brother and sister. I want to welcome to you all, introduce to some, and present to others. This is Brother Jamar Milton.
Peace. Uncle Maya.
Peace, peace, peace. Yes, yes. Greetings, all. Greetings, all. So I am blessed and highly favored to have this brother on this show. Oh, wonderful! Hey, greetings. We already have like a listener, a viewer. Welcome, Star Child 888. I can't wait to make my way out there. Fabulous. Please share this with some people who, if they have gone to Kemet, if they want to go to Kemet, if they've always been like, what's really on going on out there? If you know Brother Jamar, you know myself, please share it with other people so we can all be a part of this conversation. This trip would not have been made possible had it not been, and so we're going to shout out from the beginning. Aket Tours and Brother Taki Grant and Sister Felicia Harden. And so I'm very pleased and blessed to have not only made their acquaintance, but developed, a very great collaborative relationship with them in order to make this trip possible. So this is a follow-up to it. We have landed back on the ground about a week ago, but as Brother Jamar and I just sort of uh, um, recognize, we probably just got our New York sea legs back together about 2 or 3 days ago after like 7 days. So let's get right into it. So, Brother Jamar, tell us how you came to this pilgrimage, and let's start talking about some of the great things that happened.
Man, I guess it started with the connection with Hapi when he asked me to perform in Queens, and then from there he wanted me to perform again in Kemet. As soon as he told me, it was an immediate yes. I had been to Kemet once before, but I always wanted to do that stretch going down to Luxor and Cairo, a little bit further down to Saqqara and in Aswan. I had never been to there. So I said, yeah, absolutely. It was a no brainer for me. Being there the first time was mainly like a tourist thing, and you're seeing, a different type of Egypt, So I knew that this stretch was going to be very, very different and a lot more intense. So I was excited to do it.
I as well. Actually, I think my first sort of putting eyes on you actually was in Queens. It was at the Black Excellence event
Oh, you were
last
there?
year.
I didn't know you were there. Okay.
Well, because I didn't know you at that point, right? But it was phenomenal. I saw you, at the first time seeing you and the other brothers from Brand Nubian, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes, Brandon.
Yes, yes. So it was definitely it was like a generational shift, I must say. I have a couple of months on you, but it was phenomenal. So I definitely again want to give a shout out to Brother Taki Grant and Sister Felicia Harden of Aket Tours. I put the here it is. Here is the if you want to go find out, get information, if you want to come on the next pilgrimage that will be on, please go there. Let them know that Brother Jamar and Sister Doriel have shared the information with you, and we will make sure that you get like really great excursions like we got. Um, so this was not only it wasn't just like a trip, it was a pilgrimage. Yes, it was a place of love and light. It was a place of connection and transitioning transformation. I'll say that transitioning transformation. Of course, we had a number of things. I know you follow Brother Jamar on his Instagram. I just sort of started following him, and he likewise. And we were trying to share some information, some beautiful moments. Um, what was like the first amazing moment that you had that you, but again, you, this is like your second time. So this is my first time.
Right.
What did you see differently this time that you didn't see the first time?
I didn't get to see the pyramid text, which I was very, very interested in. Uh, I've studied the pyramid text for quite some time, and I never got to see it in person. So being able to go in there and see the writings inside of the pyramids was very, very different. So there were certain glyphs that I wanted to see in person that I had been studying. So that was the first thing, and then I would say the most impactful uh, thing I would say was going down to Aswan, going down south and seeing the people that look like us, the dark skinned people that made the pyramids and built the pyramids, was something to see. It was a sight to see. And then, that was my tribe. I didn't know that at the time when I first came out, that I actually had a tribe that was linked to these people. So being able to see that tribe in action and see my face on somebody else, it was shell shocking. And I can't even say that that was a pinnacle because it was so many things that was great. Like even seeing Hatshepsut's mortuary temple. 10 years ago, I remember seeing that picture of Hatshepsut and seeing that temple and saying, I'm going to get there one day. I remember saying that to myself, like one day, I don't know how, but I'm going to get to this
Right.
temple, and I remember standing there, I don't know, maybe 200 yards away. And I remember everybody's walking up to the temple and I was just stuck. I was froze. Everybody was already gone. And I was just, that was the most emotional part for me because, that's when I realized like the power of manifestation. Like, when you set your intent to something, sometimes you forget, about it and you forget what you had told yourself you were going to do. And in that moment, being there, I had realized like, wow, I saw this moment. Even the distance that I was at, it was like the picture was like the same exact distance that I'm looking at it. You know what I mean? So a lot of things came into fruition on that trip for me. And it was a surreal experience.
It was. I definitely want to hop onto that. My first, I guess, awakening. I'll use that phrase. My first awakening, and shout out to my mom. I know she'll see this at some point. Is it had to have been 19, I'm gonna date myself and I don't care. Let's say 1977, 78, and that was when the remains of our dear ancestor Tutankhamun was brought from Kemet
Mhm.
to New York to the Museum of Natural History. And it literally, the world stopped, as I would say. Like, it was on every newspaper, it was on like in every uh news profile that the remains were coming. And my mother, who was in college at the time, shout out to Pace University, and I went with my mother to college, which is why I had an academic mindset. I know that's why. And so one of the trip was, oh, we're going because this amazing work has traveled. And so I went, and I just remember seeing the the sarcophagus and seeing the gold inlays and just
Mm.
seeing the whole thing and being like, wait, there's somebody in there? Like,
Right,
there's somebody who is living? They're
right.
still in there? But also just being overwhelmed by the magnanimity of the gold and
Yeah,
the work and the
yeah.
in it was it literally, that image stayed in my brain forever. And I mean forever. So whenever there would be any conversation about history or about Africa, or someone mentioned Egypt, that would be the first image that I went to. So it now, this is the funny thing. So as I'm an educator, so as a teacher, whenever I came across, and it was National Geographic magazines, they started to put out, like, some full spreads. I took one of the spreads, and because I had this initial image like 40 something years ago,
Mhm.
I took the cover off of the spread that had Tutankhamun on it.
I remember that.
2 weeks before we left for the trip, my mother said, hey, can you go clean out this file cabinet? No problem, throwing stuff away. I came across that exact same picture.
Wow.
And I said, oh my goodness. So what did I do? I took it and I put it into my suitcase. And I was like, I'm going to, take it out and be like, look, I'm here. And I
Right,
did.
right.
I forgot it. I forgot about it because we were always just like on the run, on the run. But it's still with me. And so it, I think we had so many experiences that there wasn't really time to process.
Yeah.
We just kept going. This one, hop on here. And so it was so jam packed. And so I'm still trying to decompress and say to myself,
Yeah.
I was there.
He was there.
I was so on my Facebook page every day. I'm dropping another experience, like a video or an image that was just so awe-inspiring.
Yes.
And like the image that Brother Jamar is sitting in front of, one would think, "Oh, that's a photograph." No, that's probably the picture that either he or I took while we were there, because it. Now I say it never rains in Southern California. How about it don't rain in Egypt? It don't
Yeah,
rain in Kemet.
4 times a year. That's it.
3 to 4 times a year. So just think that sky right there is actually there's too many clouds.
Yeah.
There's like too many clouds. We literally it looked every single day, every single couple of hours. It looked like we're looking at a magazine.
Yeah. This is not even real.
We're looking at a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still trying to realize I was touching the Sphinx.
Yeah.
I was in the Valley of the Kings.
Facts.
I went down the little chute, which is what did they say it was? It was like a passageway for the workers to
Yeah.
bring the body down and to bring like the elements.
Yeah.
Incredible,
It's
incredible,
too
incredible.
much to capsulize in one moment or even one post. Like, just like you were saying, like going through everything, I'm like, wow, there's no way I can just like photo dump this. Like, I
No,
gotta peel this back layer by layer, and I probably still won't be able to capture everything that we actually experienced and saw. It's daunting, and when you're standing at the feet of these things and you see how large they are, it almost makes you just want to drop to your feet. You know what I'm saying? Drop to your knees when you see something like this, because it's like, how, like, how did they build this, and how did it last for so long, in such great quality? You know what I mean? It's like they can't duplicate it today. So it's like,
right,
you can't help but to um pay homage to your ancestors and those that laid the groundwork for you. They were thinking of you, and you can tell they thought of you way back then. They said someday somebody's going to come back here and look at this. You know what I mean? And we have to write down our story. We have to put it in stone so that they never forget, how great we are. It's evident in everything that they do. So yeah, amazing trip.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And so, you actually, so we'll talk about two things, and that uh, it relates to leaving a legacy,
Mhm,
right? So the rite that you performed and
mhm,
an image that you spoke about of one group of people laying on their symbol
mhm,
onto a layer that was already there, right?
mhm,
And so I think you dropped this, maybe it was yesterday,
mhm.
and it was a reel in my mind. It's a reel of you walking and seeing, and I forgot where we were, because again, we probably went to like 15 places.
We were at File. Believe we were at File.
Okay, right at Philae, and you saw the symbol of what would be, I guess, like a modern day cross symbol
Coptic.
inlaid, right, like a Coptic cross, right,
Mm-hmm.
inlaid into the walls. And so, why don't you share? And I know your audience, who's they are flowing, they're flowing through the comments right now. I'll put some of them up. Tell us about that experience for you and what you thought about that in terms of like maybe adopting or taking basically somebody's story and implanting another story on top of that.
Yeah, as a Kemetic priest, many people ask us, well, what's the difference between, Kemet and any other religion and things of that nature? Well, Kemetic, as a Kemetic priest, we delve into spirituality, right? It's not so much religion. It's so all of the Abrahamic faiths were given birth by spirituality. So there's a lot of contention as to how factual that is. So actually seeing that these artifacts show us indicatively that we had temples established and we had a spiritual system already in place, and another group of spiritualists came in and decided to use those temples and take those temples and even take the stories and create their own. So me being a Kemetic priest and being there and having my ankh, and you see ankhs all over the wall, but then at the entrance you see the crosses, it's it's undeniable as to what took place there. You can see how new the cross was compared to the ancient writings on the wall. You know what I mean? So it's something that me as a Kemetic priest, I needed to see, you know, to really stand firm in what I believe and what I was told and what I was taught, you know, in my teachings, you know, sitting at the foot of master teachers, what they've always told me. You know, it's different when you see it with your own eyes, you know, than you know, taking it from a book or, you know, hearing someone's word for it. You know, you got to take that time to go and really solidify whatever it is that you believe in life. You know what I mean? You only get one shot at this life, and whatever you're going to believe, you know, if you're going to believe it for your whole life, you owe it to yourself, you know, to do that legwork, and to prove it to be true, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So for me, that was really what I needed to stand firm consciously and unconsciously in what I believe, and be able to look someone straight in the eye and say, I know what I'm talking about. I can show you better than I can tell you, you know. So it was an awesome experience for me. Yeah.
That it was, that it was. So you had another awesome experience, and that was looking at someone and saying, "Oh my gosh, I think I know you." I need the people to hear you talk about that. And while you're doing that, I'm going to mute myself and actually put up some of these amazing comments from your from your fans. Okay.
Yeah. So you know, getting to Aswan, which was probably the pinnacle of the trip for me, um, and seeing a man who looked identical to my father. Many of them know my journey, and they know I didn't meet my father till like 20, 24, 25. You know, in jail, having that conversation, things of that nature. So it's very emotional situation for me. But you know, when you're there and you just turn around and you see somebody image that looks exactly like you, maybe 20 years later, you know, and somebody that looks like a family member of yours, particularly one that you really dearly love, and you look and you see that, you know, it melts you. And you know, the character of the people and the energy of these people was just so sweet and warm. You know, going from the north to the south is very different in the way that you're being approached. Like in the north, you know, the Arabic Egyptians, you know, they say, you're my brother from another mother. They're very warm. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. You're my brother from another mother. It's great. It's awesome. It's like a friendship. But then when you go further south, the conversation changes. They start saying, welcome home. You know what I mean? Welcome home. And you know, there's a difference between a brother from another mother and someone saying, this is your home. This is where you where you belong. You know, so experiencing that and seeing that, and then seeing the different versions of my face on people, what my face would look like if I had been there forever and my face was black, like purple black, you know, what they call blue black, you know, seeing that and seeing, you know, every part of my face, the way my face wrinkles, the teeth, the expressions, you know, the hair texture, the way it grows out of your face, everything, where we gray at first, like certain areas where we turn gray at, you know, I don't see that in the States the way that I saw that there. You know, I see black people all the time here in the States, but they don't actually look exactly like me. Like when you have a tribe shares a certain blueprint face. Like if you go to Asia or anywhere else, you go to, you know, Puerto Rico, or you go, it's like a blueprint that you can tell, okay, you're West Indian for sure. I can tell by your cheekbones. I can tell, right? So when you see that tribe does something to you. It shakes you to your core. You know, if you've never experienced it, it's shell shocking. So, you know, that experience for me, I instantly felt free. You know, it was a void that was filled, you know, to know that I'm, you know, yeah, I'm a one-to-one, I'm an original. There's nobody like me, but I belong to a certain group of people that were great and contributed to society, wonders that they still haven't figured out how to do yet. You know, royalty, the way that the way that the sun kisses my skin, and way it reacts. You know, it reacts a certain way. Like there's certain black people, like we turn black, and there's others that we turn reddish black. Like we have when we take pictures, we have to change the hue because we look orange in
That's
our pictures.
right.
It's a difference, you know what I mean? So you're seeing that diversity and you're seeing yourself in these individuals, And it's mind blowing. It's almost like if you have a dog, you know, you got a red nosed pit bull, you got a brown nosed pit bull. They're both pit bulls, but there's different types of pit bulls. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, there's different types of pit bulls, and that's how you can tell the one from another. So you know, and now I understand why they shot the noses off. You know why they wanted to desecrate the noses, because that was the giveaway. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Have we not seen that? I think we still would have been in the mindset that they just saying that. So I want y'all to know, I want everybody to know that I was in Jamar's presence when he sees this brother, who I know you've probably put on your Instagram at this point, because I think that's probably how I saw it. And he's standing next to this brother who we in the States would call blue black, right? This brother was beautiful,
beautiful,
just beautiful. Just beautiful. And when we saw him from afar, he was, just trying to sort of bring people up to, get in closer into the let's say the exhibit. And we were kind of like, whoa, like is it really that hot sunny out here that he got that?
He almost didn't look
Could
real.
not, but we could not believe it's real. And then he sees, this other person. He's like, wait a minute. He looks like my father. And so we're like, Jamal, what are you saying? Like, no, look. And then he's getting his phone. He's like, look, this is my dad. And we're looking at him like, get out of town. You couldn't 23 and me that.
Yeah.
You couldn't have ancestry.com that.
Mm-mm.
You couldn't have Roots Alex Haley that. You couldn't have done it.
Couldn't.
Had he not seen it for himself.
When I saw the look on Epidici's face, when Epidici saw the picture of my, he's
like, my people, you've come home. Like literally, all pun intended.
They're lucky I already had a ticket back home, because if I had a one-way ticket, I wouldn't be here, right? I would still be there trying to figure this thing out, and making those connections, man. Oh man,
it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So again, if now I've gone to Ghana a few times, and so you've had a trip prior to this, and so you've seen literally the dichotomy between the North and the South, the Nubians, and then the Arabic Egyptians, and the distinction between the two. And it is a stark difference.
Yes.
And I say stark with the ARK. Stark difference in hue, in mannerism, in economy. And that's a whole other right. Stay tuned, because we'll be talking about that as well, because we got to talk about it on a separate episode. Like, just some of it was unbelievable. But the beauty, of course, is the authenticity, that the difference in parts of the land, and how the warmth authentically came out from people. And that was something to behold, and just to sort of marinate on, and to wrestle with, I think, for us, because I've been to Ghana, and so I've seen, like, I'll see people, and literally, now those of you who don't know, I live in Brooklyn, so shout out to Brooklyn. But I'll see people in Ghana, and I'm like, didn't I just see you on Church Avenue? I live in Flatbush, right? And we have like a really nice, like, Ghanaian contingent, let's say, in Brooklyn. Like, I saw you on Nostrand Avenue. Weren't you at Kings Plaza? Like, no, weren't you driving a bus?
Right.
And so we had a similar type of connection and, like, awareness in Kemet. A couple of people like, were you on a plane with me?
Right.
So even though literally miles, right, and kilometers away, and time zones, and land masses away, I totally believe in the Pangea and Laurasia. I totally believe in Pangea and Laurasia, that all of us were literally just one ball, and then continental shifts, and then people just sort of like separated, and then the Bering Strait, like I believe in the whole thing. And so it's beautiful to see that here it is, this brother sees someone that literally looked like his daddy,
Yeah.
right? On the other side of the world. Like
Mm.
you couldn't have made that up.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Brooklyn. That's right. Stevie Irvine. I appreciate it. Brooklyn all day. That's right. Again. So let's talk about the other transition rite that you performed that touched my heart and my life, and I will definitely be sharing this part of it with my family member because it I couldn't have made it up.
Hmm.
We were sitting together on this little boat that was taking us across the Nile.
Yeah.
I was having a moment, and here it is. What did you say?
I pulled out uh, a little boat and I said, I plan on doing a funerary service, for my brother, Lord Jamar, his dad, who had passed away. Actually, he gave me his ashes to take to Africa with me. Now, um, unbeknownst to you, I became a Kemetic priest just to do these services. And unbeknownst to Lord Jamar, I became a priest to do these funerary services. So he just found out that I was going to Africa. I didn't even tell you this part, and he just like, "Hey, can you take this with you?" And I'm just like, "Bro, like that wasn't the plan. Like I didn't go to Africa to do that, right?" But he was actually supposed to be on the trip with us, right? But for whatever reason, he wasn't able to come. But he gave me his father's ashes, and he said, "Can you, my father was really big into Kemetic spirituality. Can you please, do something for him there?" And I was humbled instantly. And I also knew that it was divinely ordained for that to happen. And, things have been just rolling out for me. As you can see what happened there, you got a piece of it. Things like that, when you're moving divinely, things just happen and the universe just seems to make things happen for you, especially when you set your intentions. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know that that's what was going to be happening, but he gave me that to do. And, that was my charge. So sitting next to you, I was telling you what I was doing while I'm putting the boat together, and you said, "Oh my God, I have ashes that I came here with to do the same thing." So that's how I knew it was divinely guided, because at the same time, what's the coincidence that we're sitting next to each other on the same boat? There were several groups that was going there
That's
on
right.
different boats, right? And instantly the universe had sat us next to each other, because these are the things that were supposed to happen. I really believe the ancestors were shining down on us and making sure that things was in order for us to make sure that it happened. And everyone was able to write the names on the boat, and we was able to send those ashes out. Everyone that was there who had an ancestor that they wanted to pay homage to was able to sign the boat, and we was able to sail that boat off into the Nile and perform the funerary service for everyone on the boat. So, and send them off in a Kemetic way, and so it was something that it's like coming just full circle. I'm still in awe at it, and I'm still trying to process how all of this happened. But at the same time, I just let the universe and the ancestors speak, and allow them to guide my steps and order my steps, because there was no way that I could have made that happen. Like it was,
Right.
yeah. There's no way. Like I can't even. I don't know what to say. I just know what happened. You know.
Right. 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 Right.
So,
So
I'm literally like shaking right now because it's crazy. I was in
it,
awe.
it was it. There are no words. If there's a word, I'll try to figure it out at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, this is the word. Um, Serendipity is probably just the closest thing that I can come to. So what had happened was, I have a dear aunt who very quickly, her health, her health changed. Oh, sorry, a couple months ago, and she knew that I was going on this trip. And a few over the last couple of years, when I had taken trips to the continent, she was like, "Oh wow, I'd really love to go." And I was like, "Well, okay, next time I go, come on with me." She's like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I won't be able to, take the plane ride or whatever." I was like, "Well, if you want, come on." And so very quickly, again, her health changed in the fall, and she transitioned like the day after Thanksgiving.
Mm.
And so, as I was planning her, helping her son to plan her services, I said to him, very delicately, because this is the first relative that I had such a close connection to, uh, that well, no, the second in the same year, sisters, but the aunt that was very closest to me in age. And so I gently, like, how do you say that to someone?
Mhm.
And I said, listen, I'm traveling to Egypt, and your mom was always very interested in my trips. Like, again, you got to form those words, right? And I said, would you mind if I take a part of her and bring it with me in
Right.
order to return her
Right.
so that she could have that experience? And
Right.
he was like, I never thought about that. I said, I didn't either until just now. And so it was a very delicate process, and just receiving them in the mail. And that was just teary eyed and very, I would have to say, very spiritual, because there's no religion about it. It's just like, what do I do? So I was as delicate as possible. I lit some candles. I said some prayers. Like, I was just very gracious, because I had to. And listen, let me just say this for the record. If anybody's interested in doing this, you need to speak to the crematory, the funeral parlor, in
Mhm.
order to get the official letter
Mhm.
that you can transfer
Mhm.
the remains and bring them somewhere else
Mhm.
and bring them out of the country.
Mhm.
Please do that.
Yes.
But pack it. No, actually, carry it with you, but carry the letter with you in case somebody stops you at TSA, and
Mhm.
you could say, here's my letter.
Right.
I'm just trying to tell you.
Right.
Just trying to tell you, because I did the research. Anyway, bring it. Trying to be as delicate as possible. And here it is. Like, there's what, 60, 70 people of us on this trip.
Right.
Couple of boats were going across. How is it that I sit next to Jamar and I see him, and I'm just trying to be as delicate as, like, how am I going to do this? I need to make sure I do this and, like, not get in trouble or whatever. And then
Right.
I see him, he's taking, and he's like this. It's like Mission Impossible, because he's like this. He's taking stuff out of the boat. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? We on a boat. What are we in the middle of the Hapi River? What you doing? He's,
Right.
I'm like, you putting together a little boat, bro. What you doing? And then, so it's like both of us are like this. Dun, 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 dun. I kid you.
And
That's the only funny part of this.
I'll be remiss. I want to shout out Jabario Saze for making that boat. Shout out to him. Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I would actually suggest, like, Brother Jabari, if you're into doing that, if anybody's interested in that, it was just such a touching and beautiful moment. So anyway, I'm sitting there and I'm like holding on to, my aunt, and he's doing this thing, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And he tells me, and I just,
She had him in the bag with. She just pulled. I'm like,
you couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. And so he's sitting there, I'm sitting there, and I said, wow. And so he tells me what he's doing, and I said, would you mind if I, like, share in this moment? And, like, both of us are like, hands are jittering, like, oh my gosh, we can't believe we're doing this, but we're trying to keep it on the QT,
right.
because we didn't really know if people around us would be like, can you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but and I said, well, he goes, well, why don't you write her name
Yeah.
on the boat? And I was like tearing, took some of the ashes, put it in the center, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is happening. And then he gets this bright idea, and he goes, let's get everybody to sign it. So what started out with one name
Start up for
then
one.
wound up having all of us. And it was just, you could not have planned that.
Yeah. You
It
can't.
was just, so everybody went from, like, chit-chatting, and we're all, wow, we're gonna go. And then he's passing it around, and at one moment, the entire boat was just silent. And you saw the looks on people's faces become very, like, humbled and reflective and somber, but beautifully somber. Like,
It changes
I'm,
things.
I'm taking, just with my family members or loved ones' name,
Hmm.
and putting it on this boat,
Hmm.
knowing that that boat is going to sail the Happy River. Goosebumps. Everybody for a moment was just like,
I'm getting them now. I can't.
because I know. Yes, yes, he was. Yes, I'm gonna put these up. Beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. If
Yeah.
anybody can do something for their family member, it was just phenomenal. Thank you, brother Steve. Yeah, I appreciate you. Yes, because I had to do my research because I was not getting caught by somebody saying, "No, you can't take that." Mm-mm,
Right.
no, no, no. So
And,
yes,
and,
and brother
and
was eternal.
ultimately for me, it was also
Surreal.
a double, I should say, another benefit from it was it helped me to realize, just my charge and what I'm doing as a Kemetic priest. Um, it put me in a space where I really started to take my temple seriously, my body, and consecrating my mind and my spirit for what I was partaking in. I didn't eat any meat while I was out there, and everybody knows I had my own marijuana strain. I was an average smoker for a long time, for over 20 something years. I haven't smoking since. It helped me to realize where I'm at, and how important uh, the work that it is that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Because who else is doing this for us? We don't really have these services like we should have. And I said, to myself, I owe it to myself, and I owe it to the people to take this thing, seriously. You know what I'm saying? Take it very, very seriously, and it's a very, very delicate, situation. Not just doing it for my family, but doing it for other people. You have to take it to a level that that I didn't realize that I was ready for, and that the universe was preparing me for. You know what I'm saying? So everything was a culmination up until that point. Is I realized that everything was a learning lesson for me and a culmination to reach that pinnacle of who I'm destined to be. So it was just a special moment, and I appreciate you. Because in on the trip, the people don't know this, but on the trip, I'm shooting my videos and and doing stuff like that. I didn't have anybody with me to help me. And Dory, she just noticed like what I was doing and came over and was like, "Hey, let me help you with the pictures," and boom, boom, boom. And she just started taking ill pictures and video. Like some of the pictures that y'all be seeing and I'm posting, 50% of those is Dory. Like she, she was, when my phone was dying, Dory had the plug and everything. I got you, brother. Boom, boom, boom. She had the power bank and the jack. You know what I'm saying? It's like the universe just really made sure that I had everything and every person that I needed to complete the task at hand. You know what I'm saying? So she's truly an angel and truly divinely guided. And I owe you some. I thank you for that. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so
Look at
much.
this. I see your growth, young man. Calico Jones Reloaded. Yes, when that came up
Do
early, I was
up,
like,
do up.
right. And so to everybody, literally, I don't know Brother Jamar from a can of paint.
Right.
Like, until I saw him last year. And I will say at this moment, I was like, oh, that's an interesting young brother. And I will say, and I'm going to show this to my son. I'm like, he kind of reminds me of my oldest son. I'm like, oh, interesting energy. Okay, I, and even though I was raised in the hip hop era, because of the walk that I had, I didn't fully embrace all of it. So some of the work that you were doing, even like Lord Jamar from Brand Nubian, I was like, yeah, I think I remember Brand Nubian, but I don't necessarily remember like all that. But and so I looked at, I was like, oh, that's an interesting guy. All right. I don't know if I can roll with that, but that's okay, right? And then here it is. We meet on this trip. And I can say that you're like my younger brother.
Yeah.
He's trying to get these shots. He has all this equipment. I was like, I'm gonna say this in love. I was like, son, give me that. Give me that. Let me help you. Go stand over there, do like this. And he looks at the picture like, how'd you do that?
For real. She saw it. I was like, she got the eye. I was telling everybody, like, let Dory take your picture because she killing it right now. Y'all have no idea.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So, there's one word that we say, oh, wait, thank you. 1 second. Thank you so much. Yes, he did put in the works. He did put in the work. Steps are ordered and divinely ordained. I appreciate it.
Wow.
Oh, thank you, Sister Latifah. I appreciate
Yeah.
appreciate you. Is one thing that we say, and only people who are on this trip will understand this word. Now we say family. Family.
That is the word for the rest of my life. If I hear that, I know. I'm stopping in my tracks. That was the word right there.
That was
Family.
the word. That was the word. That was the word. It was, again, it was a truly, it is incredible experience. I
Yeah.
thoroughly encourage anybody. Listen, and I'm not telling anybody what to do with your coins, but if y'all can go to Jamaica, y'all can go to the DR, y'all can go to Puerto Rico, y'all can get on a cruise.
Yeah.
Take yourself to Kemet.
Do it. Do
Take
it.
yourself to Kemet. The food was amazing. Even the security, we didn't even have any issues with security. If anything else, we may have felt over secured,
Yeah, we have
but
police escort
actually,
everywhere we went. Yeah. Hmm.
everywhere we went, even which is why I didn't know what you did. If you told a whole lot of people, but I didn't tell a whole lot of people
Hmm.
that I was going because people are like, oh my gosh, aren't you concerned? No, no, I'm not. I'm not. If I get this far, it's gonna be fine.
That's right.
Wherever we walked,
Yeah.
wherever we turned, we had, thank you very much to Noha and Imad and
Yeah.
Brother Taki and Sister Felicia, we had Secret Service with us
Facts.
the entire time.
Whole time. Whole
The
time.
entire time.
Not one time that I think about like even my safety or if I
I
felt
did not.
I not one time didn't have that cross my mind. Not even once. The whole 10 days.
Yep.
You
I
know.
Because also everywhere we turned, the areas that we traversed, it felt like a sentinel. It felt like we were driving through streets that how do I say this in love? That just they knew that they wanted us to be safe.
Hmm.
That's the only way I could explain it.
Yeah.
And so at every sort of pinnacle point, I mean literally a pinnacle point, we saw, armed military
Everywhere.
along the route.
Yes.
So we never, as soon as we saw, we were just like, we were crossing the Nile. We were flanked by military, like little boats. And we were like,
Even,
okay,
even on the water. That's right. Even on the water,
oh, okay.
it's like, yo, we felt presidential out here, you know?
He felt presidential.
Yeah. I mean, even still, even, aside from them, even if when I wasn't paying attention to them and I was roaming the streets, the
Yep.
people, they want to sit you down and give you tea and mint tea and ask you what you need and they're giving you stuff. Of course they're selling you stuff. They make most of their money off of tourism, so you're getting that. But it wasn't like anything overbearing to the point where you felt unsafe. It just they knew that they welcomed you. They wanted you to be there, and they understood your purpose there. Everywhere that we went. So I highly advise anybody. Like she said, we're not telling you what to do with your coins, but if you can do it, by all means, please take the trip. It's well
Sure.
worth it.
It is, yeah. If you ever studied anything about, and I'm going to use the other word, about Egypt, or the Egypt that you saw on television,
Mhm.
or the images again that if you saw it on like Ebony, if your family grew up with the Ebony Jet Essence, life, right? Because I'm from that era, and or even People, Time Magazine, National Geographic, whatever, the Encyclopedia Britannica. If y'all from the pre-internet streets era,
Yeah,
and you saw any of these images, it is surreal
yeah.
because you get off of the bus or you get off of the plane and you see it, and you're like, I'm looking at somebody's photo book. This
Mm.
is and you think this is a really like high def,
Yeah,
photo because
no
this can't
filter.
be real.
No filter. Like how sometimes you go on Instagram and they show you different things and you're like, I don't been there. It don't really look like that. No. Egypt is exactly the way you see it in those pictures, as glorious as it looks to the eye. It's even more glorious. It's like you're just in it. It's like you're in a painting. It's very,
Yes,
very weird. But
that
it's
part.
yeah, you feel like you're in a painting.
That part. I don't even have words. It's jaw dropping. It's jaw dropping. And as intimate, and then I'm gonna stop this sort of rant, and I would love to take some if there's any questions or comments. I'm gonna put up with the rest of the comments that have come through. To say that we were walking, I'll just say it, where our ancestors walked, tarried, and laid to rest
Mm.
was an understatement. The fact that we walked into tombs, that we walked into burial places, that we saw remnants of the, let's say, spaces where people laid,
Yeah.
the carvings within, like the fact that, and I cannot remember which one it is, and I'll find out, and or just continue to follow. Please like, comment, and subscribe on this channel, which is my channel, Doria Larry, or Learn to Grow You, letter U at the end. Um, because I'll be reporting on it. There's a pyramid inside of a pyramid.
Mm. Yeah.
Just hearing that, you're like, what? You just have to look at the picture in order to think, how in the world mathematically did they construct a pyramid within a pyramid that goes to a specific, like a an exact point. There's no way I can explain it but show you a picture, and again, you'll see it later on this channel.
Mhm.
But if you have any questions, you have any comments, please, first of all, go to Aket Tours. Aket Tours, it is in the comments, and I'm going to put it back up. But if you have any comments, please ask. And here we go. Please go there now. Follow them on all social media platforms, and just let Brother Taki and Sister Felicia know that Brother Jamar and myself, we sent you, and we want to call you family.
I want to
You
see everybody on the feed. I really want y'all to be there for the next trip. Because I'm planning on going every year. I have to. You can't do it all, and you won't be able to take it all in. And I have I don't know how many gigs of photos and videos, but it still couldn't have been enough. And my camera was on pretty much the whole time. And I only missed like one thing. It was I believe it was Karnak that I wasn't able to go to at night. We went there during the day.
Oh, okay.
That was the
Okay.
only thing I didn't go to, but I saw it during the day. And even then, it's still so much. Like you can't get it all. I was
That
so
was that was just to say that was palatial is an understatement.
yeah, yeah,
Because, and for those of you who may not be aware, Karnak is, and I can't give you all the gazillion details, but the image is, let me see if I can come up with, if you ever watched the Ten Commandments, it's probably, that might be the example. Maybe like the Ten Commandments,
mm,
I think. Like, let's say the Ten Commandments. And there's this image of uh people walking down this, like a long path, and on either sides of the path are all of these, let's say,
lions,
sphinx like,
sphinx. Yeah,
right, statues. And there, I guess there are about 12, probably like 12 on each side. That would, the number would make it's either 10 or 12.
hmm
You get off like the bus, and you sort of turn into it, and you look, and you're just like, am I looking at like a big screen movie theater, like of
yeah,
what, of what?
yeah,
And then you walk, and they're so magnanimous that they're taller than you. So let's just say I'm five something. Don't tell me what, but let's say they're like 7 feet tall, and then they have to at least be about 8 feet,
wide. Yeah,
maybe 8 to 10 feet wide, and on each of them is a sphinx like character.
yes.
And then there's like 10 to 12 of them. Then you go into Karnak, where there are these lifelike, you just can't even look up far enough. You're just, what am I looking at? What am I looking at? And to see it at night, all of the lights are on it. So it literally looks like somebody designed and like carved it out of sand and
uh,
placed it there, as like, you just go look up Karnak on, and do a Google search, do a Google
yeah,
University search, and look, and then you'll be like,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
Mm-mm, mm-mm. So if there's any questions, please. Oh, you're laughing. Thank you. Because it was funny.
yeah. It is. It's daunting, you know, and all you could do is just be in awe. Just there's nothing else that you can really do but just look and observe, absorb, you know,
And
and
be
take it all
awestruck.
in. Cheers. There's no way you going there and you're just like, there's nobody that's like desensitized to this. Nobody. Like when you look at it, it's gonna do something to you for sure. You're not coming back the same.
Am I? Is this Tashi, the sister who was with us?
Yes, that's Tashi.
sis, you're gonna have to come on for another episode. I want your take on this. I'm trying to get as many of our family to give their take on it. So Tashi, DM me and Stevie Irvine. Why are you like, wow? What's up? Drop the question. So Tashi says she's going back next year. I appreciate it. So Stevie Irvine, I did put the link up. Please, again, go follow them. Go check them out. Did y'all see any of the Warrior games? Calico Jones Reloaded. Let me know a little bit more about that. Please do.
Mm-hmm.
Please be sure to follow. Yes, yes, yes. Because again, I'm going to have as many of our family on this in order to share their own perspective. Thank
Yeah.
you, Love and Light. Your eye has to be gifted. Thank you so much, Steve. I actually do think I take good pictures. I think. Okay, so that's the best part. The people, they want to take care of you. Yes, they definitely wanted to take care of us. And please, this part right here, invest in yourself. Your legacy depends on it. So, how many of us can say, hey, I got my passport stamped and I've been to these islands, which are great. I'm always, no matter where I go, I'm always going to do a historical lens. Even if I go to, let's just say a European country, I'll leave it at that. Or if I'm going to go to an Asian country, I want to see the black folk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, take me to the back.
That's just me. I want to go see where the black folk.
Yeah, where they at?
Where,
Where they at? I know they here.
So I'm from Brooklyn, so y'all know when we say we're Brooklyn out and be like,
Yeah.
yo, where my folk at?
Mm-hmm. And one thing I do want to say too as well, I think this trip is that much more impactful because of who we're going with. It's one thing to book a trip and just go to Egypt, right? And you can be a tourist and do the thing, right? And you see these things, but going with Mfadishi and Happy Film and the specific tour guides that we had is what made the difference, because the education that you're going to get on this trip is second to none. You want to go with somebody that can read the glyphs and tell you what's going on from a spiritual sense of the people who created it, not the ones who conquered it or took it over. You want to go with somebody who understands the delicacy of what's being told. And our tour guides played no games. They held no punches, and they literally laid it down for us to where when you come home you feel educated about what you saw. Like I told you, I've been there before. I know a lot about Kemet. But at the same time, going with master teacher Mfadishi, I learned a lot more by being with him and sitting at his foot. So you definitely want to go with the right people surrounding you and the right tour guides, and Noha as well. The other tour guide that we had, she was amazing, amazing.
And very respectful, if I may. And I know our time is wrapping up, but I just want to add this. So the respectability politics,
Mm-hmm.
let's start with that, was genuine and it was appreciated. And so let me say this. There were some tour guides, and because Mfadishi Jehutima said it prior to us going, he said, there will be people there, like, tour guides who will give like some of the story. And then we, because we know a little bit differently,
Mm-hmm.
we'll have to be respectful and sort of like
Mm-hmm.
keep quiet,
They reserve, yeah.
be reserved. But of course, there's going to be moments of like, good and well, that ain't right.
Yeah.
With the head, right? We're
Respect.
going to respectfully
Yes.
interject and sort of tweak the message. And there wasn't any like, who are you to tell me?
Right.
Noha spoke,
Right.
and then Mfadishi Jehutimus weighed in.
Yes.
And that was the risk. And when he provided new insight, I'll put it like that,
Mm-hmm.
she was very respectful, and she's like, you're right. Like, I'm telling like 80% of what I know and remember,
Yes.
and you're adding the other 20 and adding another 10. So it's 110,
Yes.
right? And that was the beautiful part of it. And so again, prior to us getting off of the bus, he would say, okay, we're going so and so. This is what you should see. We would go.
Yes.
Noha would give the preliminary, and then Mfadishi Jehudimus would give the additional supplementary. And
Yes.
then Taki, because this is his tour, he's done this for 25 years, he
Mhm.
would give sort of like the detailed stuff, and then Brother Infidisha Jehotimus would add on. It was just layer after layer after layer. So
Couldn't
yes,
lose.
I know, right. You couldn't lose. You could not lose. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I want to give the last thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so Tashi, thanks. Hey family, you gotta add some wines to that family,
For real, you
Tashi.
gotta put some wise on that one.
You gotta put some wines, at least like 6 to 7 wines on that. Yes. Again, you have to understand where that's coming from. We'll just give you the tea and then we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah.
What we had a huge group. There must have been like 60 or 70 people. I don't even remember how many. But the tour guide, Noha, kept, trying to like corral her little chicks, right? Wherever we went. And when we would spread out, she would say, family. And so
No matter where you are, you hear it. Five
and
hundred
we
miles,
were
you're gonna hear.
we were so attuned to that no matter where we were in a
Yeah.
temple or a pyramid with hundreds of people, we would hear it and we would all go like this.
It's like your mama's cry when the lights come on at 6 o'clock. Like, like, oh, we gotta go.
It was
No matter where you are.
hilarious.
I'm
It
off to
was
the side. I'm filming. I'm rapping. I'm doing my thing in certain moments. Like, family. Like,
we like, dang, we gotta go.
I gotta go.
So good. So listen, folks. This of course will be up. Brother Jamar will be able to come back on the live and like answer any questions, or if you want to, of course, definitely follow him if you're not already following him. I don't even know who my people are in here because they're usually flowing in, but I know they're getting like they're probably on Facebook. I don't even have Facebook up. Um, but please just make sure that you definitely follow Aket Tours. You can follow either of us. Again, I know Jamar will have his own conversations about the tour. If you want to hear on my channel from the other members of the tour and their other perspectives as well, please like, comment, and subscribe. You know how we do in these YouTube and Facebook streets. Ask any questions, and we'll do the best that we can to get back to you. But Brother Taki, Grant, and Sister Felicia Harden, they will be on in hopefully a couple of days. Again, we're still like getting over jet lag. It's still getting over jet lag. And we want to make sure that we take care of you as Kemet took care of us. So let me put these last couple up. So let's say we do tour guides for people who fought for our people, the warriors, Malcolm, Dr. King. Yes. Yes. And it was in African Heritage Month. Okay, we were like blackety black. Let me just say that for the record. Let me say that for the record. Excellent. Yes, we loved our group. We're no longer strangers. We are definitely family.
For sure.
Thank you, Brother Stevie Irvine, and thank you, Brother Jamar Milton. Yes, so please, Aket Tours on IG or akettours.com. So, good night for now, Brother Jamar. If you want to leave any final words or thoughts.
Hey, may the divine force in me get the divine force in you. May you manifest every heart's desire. Do I for having me on here. It was a pleasure as always. You are so much fun, just a bundle of joy. I appreciate you greatly. So everyone, have a good night. I love you.
All right. So, Brother Jamar, stay right there for a moment. Okay. Peace and blessings. This is a Learn to Grow You moment where I plant seeds to help you grow. My name is Joel Inez Larrier of Learn to Grow You, where I invite conscious folk on 4 different topics. Ministers on a mission, and this right here was going to be considered one of the ministers on a mission because that brother right there is a minister on a mission. A new class is in session about thinking and learning outside the box. The Clause Squad, which is all about wellness, and last but not least, politician and the people, talking about social justice and community activism in the local area. And so I thank you all for joining us. Please come back on another day and set your notifications because probably during this week we may have one or two other people coming on in the next couple of weeks. We'll talk more about our trip, my pilgrimage to Kemet, and all that I learn and glean and want to share with you. So once again, peace and blessings. I'll see you all on the next one.